Okay, in this lesson, we're going to look at finding the volume of these 3D shapes that we've been working with. Make sure if you have not yet, make sure you get your formula sheet from your teacher. So do you have the reference sheet? That will have all your formulas on it that you need in order to do volume. So first of all, let's talk about what volume is. Volume, whenever you think of volume, you should think of filling something up. So filling up a tank of water, filling up a pop can. Volume is the amount of space in cubic inches, or sorry, cubic units that a solid takes up. So cubic, it could be cubic inches, but it could also be cubic centimeters, cubic meters, whatever it may be. So volume is the amount of space it takes up. That's why I said filling something up. You're not covering it, you're actually filling it. Let's look at the first one here. This first shape, hopefully you know, is a cylinder. And if you look at your reference sheet, the formula is volume equals pi r squared times the height. Pi r squared times the height. So there's a couple of things you need to know there. You need to know r. If you don't know what r stands for, go back to your work on circles. R means the radius, so halfway across the circle. And h stands for the height. So the height is always if that shape is on its base, how tall is it? Be standing straight up. So the height, you can pretty easily tell here is 27 right there. That's the height. So mark that with an H. Now, the radius is a little bit trickier because in this one, it gives you the distance all the way across the circle. So in order to get the radius, we have to divide that number by 2. So 34 divided by 2 is 17. So radius equals 17. Now, when we do all of these answers, we're actually going to do them in terms of pi. So we're not going to use 3.14 or anything like that to do it. So we're going to leave the pi alone. So let's plug it in. So volume equals pi times r squared. What's r again? R is 17. So times 17 squared times whatever the height is, which is 27. So in your calculator, you need to do everything here except the pi. So you need to do 17 squared times 27. So if I do that in my own calculator, 17 squared times 27, that is 7,803. Now, like I said, you didn't do the pi. We're going to leave our answer in terms of pi. So it's 7,803 pi. And that would be whatever the unit is, meters cubic unit, so cubic meters. So that's our answer for that cylinder. Okay, the next shape, hopefully you know what that is. You flip it upside down, you can put ice cream in it. It is a cone. So the formula for cone here, look at your formula sheet. Formula for cone is volume equals 1/3. No, stop. 1/3 pi r squared times the height. Okay, so now we are going to plug in what we know. So we got to look and see what we know. So 1/3 pi r and h. We need our r and our h. So we have our h. Our h would be 9. Our r would be half the distance here. So if I did 7 divided by 2, that would give me 3.5. So what I'm going to plug in, what you should write on this line, is volume equals 1/3 times pi times radius, which is 3.5, squared times the height, which we just said was 9. So you're going to plug that entire thing in, like I said, without the pi. So really, in your calculator, you should type in 1/3 times 3.5 squared times 9. And I got 36.75 pi. And that would be 36.75 pi inches cubed. So that is the cone. All right, next one, a sphere. A sphere. So look at your formula sheet. Sphere, the formula is volume equals 4/3, so a little bit different, 4/3 pi r cubed. So r to the third power. So on your calculator, you're going to do r and then little caret and then a 3. So if I'm going to plug that in, I'm going to do an arrow so I don't have a lot of room here. So what I need to know here in order to do this is the radius. Well, it says the diameter is 18. So if the diameter is 18, what would the radius be? Well, 18 divided by 2 would give you 9. So 4/3 times pi times 9 cubed. So plug that thing in your calculator. So really, just 4/3 times 9 cubed. You should get 972 pi. And that is in centimeters cubed. Sorry, that is the volume. That would be the answer for the volume. Okay, now the next 3 are pyramids and prisms. Their formulas are a little bit different. So if you look at a prism formula, so the formula for a prism is, so it says general prism formula, V equals big B times H. What you need to know is if you look at the key at the very top, big B doesn't mean just a line. It doesn't mean just the line that is the base. It means the whole area of the base. So the first thing you have to do is think about, okay, what shape is the base? And then you have to find the area of that shape. So in this shape is a triangular prism. So the base is a triangle. So the first thing I have to do is find the area of that base. Now it's going to be the same as the top here. So I can see that that's a triangle. So on that triangle, I have a height of 12 and a base of 5. So then I'm going to look at my triangle formula. So I actually have to use another formula in order to get the area of that base. So the area of that base for a triangle, I have to do 1/2 times base times height. So 1/2 times 5 times 12. So put it in your calculator. 1/2 times 5 times 12 gives me 30. So the area of that base is 30. So that is the big B. The area of that base is 30. Okay, so now I can plug it in my formula. So to plug it in, I'm going to do V equals, instead of big B, I do area there. So the area of that base was 30 times the height of the whole shape. It's standing on its base, so the height is how tall it is. So 30 times 14. 30 times 14 would give me 420 centimeters cubed. Now that formula, notice, did not have pi in it, so I have no pi in my answer. It's just 420 centimeters cubed. Okay, this shape, even though it looks a little different, it's not sitting on its base anymore. It's the same exact shape as the last one, but it's sitting on its side. So I still got to remember, though, that it's a triangular prism, and the triangle is the base. I know it's kind of confusing because it looks like it's sitting on its base, but it's not. So the triangle's in the base. So the same thing, I have to do the area of that triangle. So 1/2 times 8 times 3 gives me the area of the base, which would be 12. Okay, so same formula, big B times H. So in this case, big B is 12. Now the height of the whole entire prism, if it was sitting on that base, you got to think about if it was sitting on its base. If it was sitting on its base, it would stand up like this. And so that height would actually be 12. So 12 times 12, the volume would be 144 cubic centimeters. All right, last one. This one is a pyramid, a square pyramid, it tells you to be exact. Formula is 1/3 big B times H. Again, big B. Big B means area of the base. So in this case, the base is a square. So if I had to find the area of the square, I just do length times width. So 2.5 times 2.5. So the area of that base is 6.25. So to do the volume, I'm going to do 1/3 times 6.25 times the height of the whole thing, which is 4. So 1/3 times 6.25 times 4 would give me a volume of 8 1/3 meters cubed, or 8.33333333, which is actually 1/3.